Hey, all 11 Universe, it's Zander, and I have decided I'm just going to be late to work today. Welcome to a tier list. Today we are ranking every singles champion in ARW history in a tier list. This is going to go out before ARW tonight because I know this video is going to flop. But anyway, you guys seem interested in the idea of ARW tier list. You guys really liked it when we did tier lists in the past. We will do another Universe one sooner rather than later. Ray and I just have to think of stuff. Do not suggest every pay-per-view in Universe history because we're waiting until the end of Season 2 to do that. I promise you it's coming. But maybe like, I don't know. Ray and I will talk about it. Anyway, so we're starting with the Interdimensional title. We're going to move to the Women's Championship next, and we're going to finish up with the Men's World Championship. There's 10 for each of them. So the categories we've got here are very best, pretty good, all right, could have been better, and they were champ. So first things first, we've got the first ARW Interdimensional Champion, the Dragonborn. And I'm going to kind of rank this on when they won it, how they won it, and how memorable the reign was. So the Dragonborn was the first champion. He won it in the ladder match at Zandermania 1 back on March 30th, 2019. And in that matchup, the competitors, I can't even remember all of them most days, but I believe it was him, Sub-Zero, Spider-Man, Robbie Rotten, Jason Voorhees, of all people. Donald Trump was in there because I wanted someone that could get hate really easily, and that was the one to do it, wasn't it? And again, it shows you how memorable that match was. I can't remember who else was in it. I think Captain Falcon might have been in there. And yeah, I don't remember who the last person was. And it'll come back to me in the middle of this video, but when it does, Kratos. There you go. So we had our 8 guys in there. And Dragonborn won. He wasn't the ideal victor. I kind of wanted Spider-Man to win it, but I wasn't playing matches at this point in ARW. It wasn't predetermined like it is now. Dragonborn's reign was pretty unmemorable. I believe his first defense was against Little Mac, and then he lost it the very next month. I'm going to put him in could have been better for now. Something else was Bowser, and Bowser won it as part of a faction. He was with the big bad bosses. It was himself, Sephiroth, Eggman, and Ganondorf. We'll be hearing about Ganondorf and Sephiroth at some point if I do a tag team one. So, I mean, then again, I'm probably going to do like an every champion in ARW history closer to Zandermania 4. My God, come on, Zandermania 4 next year. Anyway, so Bowser won it from Dragonborn at ARW Fight Back, I believe. That was the night where Big Bad Bosses won a lot of gold. Ganondorf and Sephiroth won the tag titles, and Bowser won the Interdimensional title. And I remember the finish being he caught Dragonborn into a shell shock. And I remember Bowser being a pretty dominant champion, actually. I really enjoyed Bowser. His loss was pretty memorable as well. It was on July 4th. To Captain America in the main event of an ARW episode. It was the first time, I believe, a championship changed hands on a weekly ARW episode as well. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but that sounds right in my head. So, I think I'm about to sneeze. Sorry about that. Muted my mic for that. So, Bowser, I'm going to put in they were all right. I liked Bowser's reign, but it definitely wasn't any of the best. That brings us to the bearded Captain America. He won it from Bowser on July 4th. He held it from July 4th until October at our Halloween Havoc show. I believe it was Halloween Havoc where he won it anyway. Or was it Revolution? Now I gotta remember that. No, I do think it was Halloween Havoc because I remember... you know what? I'm going to look it up real quick. ARW Revolution LS11 Universe. Season 1. Get it on mute there. Yeah, he was defending against Robbie Rotten at Revolution, so he wasn't losing it there. I'm going to keep that tab open just in case I need to research. So he held it for a while. I'm going to put him in pretty good. He definitely wasn't the very best. It was really... Then again, he also had that... This also helped elevate him. He's the first interdimensional champion that was elevated to the world title. So I'm going to put him in very best, actually. Because he had that amazing match with Iron Man at Bash at the Beach, which is going to be renamed this year because of AEW doing Bash at the Beach. Same with Halloween Havoc's going to probably get renamed now that everyone does Halloween Havoc. But yeah, he had a pretty memorable reign. I think he's one of the best interdimensional champions. That leads us on to Waluigi's first of 2 reigns, as you can see. His first one, I'm going to put in pretty good because it was a pretty short reign. He had it from Halloween Havoc until the week after Survival. And I remember this because the week after Survival, he was supposed to face Batman, who had pinned him by rolling him up. Waluigi with the Infinity Gauntlet actually got beat a handful of times by roll-up, now that I think about it. Maybe that wasn't my best thing I've ever done. But yeah, Waluigi, his first reign wasn't the best, but it was pretty good. Not much to say there because he lost it to this guy, Terry Crews, who filled in for Batman, who had been laid out backstage. And Terry Crews actually beat Waluigi, but he only had a 6-day title reign, actually, because it was a Wednesday episode where he lost it. So I'm going to put him in They Were Champ, because where's he been since? I just haven't had anything to do with him. Nothing against Terry Crews. I love Terry Crews, but, you know. That leads us on to Waluigi's second reign, which I'm going to definitely put in the best, because he was dominant there. He pretty much never lost. I think he lost one match in the entirety of the time, and that was one match before he lost the championship period. And so I think that was great. Little Mac is next, and Little Mac was the one that beat Waluigi when Waluigi had the Infinity Gauntlet. It was a true underdog story for Little Mac. It happened at Zandermania 2. It was the opening match on the show. It was a feel-good moment for Little Mac, but it was a very short reign. He only had it for 28 days. So I'm going to put him in pretty good, because it does make me a little sad how the reign didn't go as well as I thought. I'd either go pretty good or I'm going to put him in all right, because he only had one defense. So that was on the Symbiote Spider-Man. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say he was the very best ARW Interdimensional Champion we've had. It's a bold statement, I'm aware, but he's been the best so far. I mean, everyone in the comments always talked about how much they loved him with the Interdimensional title. So he's going in the best. He had dominant defenses. He also very rarely lost matches. I believe he only lost maybe 2 matches before losing the belt. And he used that to elevate himself into the world title picture as well. Of course, now he's back as regular Spider-Man, and we'll be seeing more of him soon. You'll be hearing from him pretty soon on ARW as well. But this leads it to who he lost it to, the Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Now I'm going to put Miles in pretty good. Just below Waluigi's first reign. Miles had the championship for a while, had it from October through April, wasn't it? March. Had it through March. Lost it to Zandermania 3 in that ladder match. But he just kind of faded away for a little while after losing it. He had some good defenses. That match with Spider-Man where he won it was good. Their rematch was good. But then, you can't really remember many of who he defended against, because he defended against Slender, he defended against Bowser, he defended against Giovanni, and he defended against Superman, but the Superman match ended in no contest. So, actually, I'm going to put him... I almost want to put him that could have been better. But I think just him ending the longest reign at the time, I think he's actually overtaken the reign. I don't know. And then we got Johnny Cage now. Johnny Cage is the current Interdimensional Champion. I'm really liking how this story with Captain Falcon's going. I think a lot of you can see where it's going, but I won't say anything. So I'm going to put him at the top of They Were All Right now. So here's the Interdimensional Champions. You know what? Let's do a little rearranging here. I'm going to put Bowser at the top. It could have been better. And that's, I think, a bit more accurate for me. So there's that. Let me just download this real quick. That way I can just post these in Discord later. So there's that one. And there's that tier list in case anyone ever wants to play with it. So now we're going to move on to the Women's Championship. And hi, here's me. Here's a clip to hold you over for 5 seconds while I open the sharing the screen thing. Here is here. This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow. And there you go. Now we got the Women's Championship pulled up. The Women's Championship, I really like. I really like every champion we've had. There aren't really any bad ones per se. We're starting off with Captain Marvel. Her first reign, she was wearing the green suit, so that's why she's in the green suit down here. That I need to differentiate between her 2 reigns. Ray doesn't really like that I do differences between 2 reigns of the same person, but I think each reign has its own story, really, so you kind of have to, especially when we have so few champions, which Ray doesn't do anything with ARW. It's just me, so. Captain Marvel's first reign, it's smack bang in the middle. Because the way she won it by winning 2 matches in the same night was pretty cool. I really liked that. I think that was a really good way for it to go. She won the very first match in ARW history against Wonder Woman, who we'll get to in a minute. And then she lost it in the Fatal 5-Way at Zandermania. We got a bit of a joke about that to make in a minute as well. But yeah, so she lost it there. Pretty memorable title reign overall. That was Cassandra from Assassin's Creed who won it from her. Unfortunately, I had to put her in They Were Champ because she wasn't supposed to win the belt. But I wasn't controlling matches at the time. She wasn't supposed to win the belt. You would forget that she was champion. She hasn't been in ARW in a while, and it's kind of just because I phased her out because I really haven't had anything for her in ARW. Maybe as a, but it's also because her game is kind of irrelevant at this point. Nobody really thinks of her anymore. That leaves us in Captain Marvel's second reign, which I'm going to put at the top of pretty good. And the reason I don't talk more about Cassandra is she didn't do much. She won a match, and then she lost at the very next. She lost the title a few weeks later to Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel's second reign, she won it back from Cassandra. I think if these two reigns had just been combined into one, and she had held it from episode 1 through Bash at the Beach, she would definitely be very best. I love Captain Marvel. Hot take there. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of her. I like Captain Marvel. But anyway, so that's my opinion. She had some great defenses in that time. If I can just remember off the top of my head, she had defenses against She-Hulk, which was a really fun match. I believe she fought... I can't remember who else she fought in that championship reign. But I remember every match was really fun to play. Samus, she and Samus had some great matches. I remember that. Captain Marvel and Samus have some of my favorite matches in ARW. And then ultimately, her loss to Power Girl really cemented that championship reign as one would beat. And Power Girl went and did that because I'm going to argue Power Girl in very best. And the reason I'm saying Power Girl for very best is because she won the championship. She was undefeated when she won the championship. She didn't lose a single match in her entire reign except the match where she lost the championship. She wasn't supposed to lose the championship. Fun little story. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. The match where she lost the championship was inside Termination Chamber 2020. I don't have a poster for that, actually. I need to remake the poster for that, I think. Did I ever fix the poster for that show? I don't think so. I think it's still just a bad poster. I might fix that if I'm bored today or something. Anyway. So yeah, she wasn't supposed to lose it. It was supposed to be her and Samus one-on-one at Zandermania. But it ironically became another fatal five-way for the ARW Women's Championship featuring Captain Marvel, Wonder Woman, and Samus, just with a different blonde and a different brunette in the mix. Instead of Bowsette and Cassandra, it was Power Girl and Laura Croft. Which is why I made damn sure it was a singles match for the women's title this year. But Power Girl ultimately, I think, had the best reign so far. That leads us to Wonder Woman / Mystique. We've just kind of brushed the Mystique thing under the rug. It was a stupid idea. It was a stupid story. I still feel dumb for doing it. So on that note, Wonder Woman's reign, hate to say it, pretty forgettable. Will she get another reign one day? Probably. And this time, it'll probably be better. We're just not going to delve too much into the Wonder Woman heel turn story. It was dumb. I don't like it. It was bad. It was one of the worst things in ARW. One of the worst things in ARW. Not called Donald Trump. Anyway, that leads us on to Samus. I mean, it's got to be said, she's the very best. And the reason I'm putting Samus in very best is she swept the Fatal Five-Way at Zandermania 2, pinning Captain Marvel. I believe she was the one to pin Power Girl, and I think she even was the one to pin to pin Wonder Woman. I think the only one that wasn't pinned, that she didn't pin, was Laura Croft, and I think Wonder Woman took Croft out. I could be wrong, though. She held the championship for nearly 200 days, 184 days, longest reigning women's champion thus far. She had memorable title defenses against Captain Marvel. Her matches with Croft were great. That six-pack challenge at Revolution was a lot of fun. And it's just ultimately the most memorable title reign. When I think of the women's title, I actually do think of her, and I think of Captain Marvel. These are the two I think of. Can we get Brie Larson playing Samus in a Metroid movie one day, please, and thank you. Anyway, that does lead us on to Aqua. Oh, Aqua, I'm sorry. Oh, Aqua, I'm sorry. You were supposed to have so much more. So for those that don't know, Aqua was supposed to be champion going into Zandermania, but the whole Aqua heel turn thing didn't click with anyone. No one really got into it. A couple people were into it, but like not many were into it. So I just kind of scrapped it. Mid-match, decided that Black Cat was win. If I could win the match as Black Cat, then Black Cat could have the title. But was like, we're going to aim to keep it on Aqua. And then the roll through happened, and that holy shit was legit when I said, like, I was like, holy shit! That was legit. Aqua, I mean, her matches with Samus were fun. And, like, The match with Tifa was forgettable, and that was it. She lost to Black Cat. And Black Cat, I have to put Black Cat in very best, actually. And there's a reason why I'm putting her in very best and not pretty good. Black Cat's the most over women's champion we've ever had. Like, it's ridiculous. She has had the most fan support out of any women's champion. It's kind of crazy. What does this button do? Oh, cool. I wonder what that did. I've never messed with it before. Anyway, yeah, like, I was actually she was the women's champion that got the most people talking about ARW. People were so into her cowardly heel champion run. And I had so much fun with it. Honestly, was actually trying to retain at Xandermania. That was another one of those matches where I was like, if she loses, that was the original plan. But if I can retain as Black Cat while I was playing as her, I was like, if I can retain, we'll carry this thing on for another month. And she lost at Xandermania, which was fine because I feel like both top titles in ARW not changing hands at Xandermania would have been bad. We'll get on to that in a minute. But ultimately, I think Black Cat, one of the best, maybe better than Power Girl, actually. Not the very best. Her reign had more people talking than this one did. It was shorter, but it had more people talking. That leads us on to Chun-Li. Oh, poor Chun-Li. I mean, she won it at Xandermania, so that instantly boosts the reign a little bit. But at the same time, more people were hoping for Black Cat to win that match, so I think I'm going to put her, it could have been better. And then there's the current champion, 2B, who has been extremely dominant already, but she's about to run head-on into a match with Lady Dimitrescu. So we're going to see where things are going for 2B. We're going to put her at the bottom pretty good right now, just because she's been a dominant champion so far, and we'll see how far that gets her. So that's the Women's Championship. Let me download this real quick. Save that, and there's that. And now on to the World Championship. So let's get you a little video here to hold you over while I change screens. Oh my God! What the fuck? Okay, now we're on the ARW World Champions. Now this one's going to be the most fun, I think. This one's got a lot of juice behind it. So we've got 10 ARW World Champions, 9 different people that have held that championship. Let's start with the original champion, Thanos. I feel like he's got to go in pretty good. He won it in episode 1. He won the Royal Rumble. To get to that matchup, it was, if you haven't seen before, we did 2 Royal Rumbles for the men's championship, 1 for the women's. The women's was a bye into the title match. The men's 2 Rumble winners would face off in episode 1. This is before people even knew ARW was going to be an actual thing. Thanos' championship reign, not the most memorable. He only had it for 3 months. He won it in January. He lost it in March. But he was a dominant first champion. His first defeat was memorable. And he lost it to Superman, who I think belongs in the very best. He steamrolled into ARW, ran through the Termination Chamber, and beat Thanos in the main event of the first ever Xandermania. I mean, what better as a headlining match for our first, like, this is our WrestleMania show than Superman versus Thanos, a big debate amongst comic fans and movie fans. And we had the good guy prevail in the main event. He had one of my favorite spots in a match ever against Sephiroth the following month. He had, who did he defend against? Fightback. He had that awesome triple threat with Captain America and Terminator. Kind of was the star-making thing for Captain America as well. His rivalries with his matches with Captain America, which Superman won every time at first, while Superman was champion at least. Those got a lot of people invested in Captain America. And then ultimately, I think his story with Captain Falcon was absolutely great as well, which leads to Captain Falcon, who I don't want to put everyone in the best, but I feel like the ARW World titles have the best champions, like with the best stories told. But I think Captain Falcon, I think I got to put him above Thanos. I'm putting him above Thanos because Captain Falcon's heel turn was unexpected. Nobody thought he was beating Superman except for me, except for Captain Falcon in story. The way he did that low blow when the ref's back was turned into a Falcon Punch, into what was his finisher for like a week, the Falcon Arrow. And he kept his word. He said it's only going to take one Falcon Punch to beat you. And it did only take one Falcon Punch to beat Superman. And now, here we are. Captain Falcon had like one of the most memorable reigns in ARW. He's the reason the Avengers came together in ARW. His defense the following month against Batman was fun. The Deadly Alliance was a lot of fun. Him and Cineroar, later Bolt Bull, and then Scorpion and Sub-Zero, who have been MIA for a while. Sorry about that. They'll be back soon, I promise. It was also just a ton of fun. I had a lot of fun with that. And then the way he lost it, again, just continuing to make Captain America a big deal in ARW. Captain America has been like arguably the face of ARW. Arguably. There's someone else I think is the face of ARW now, but Captain America for a while was the face of ARW, which does lead me to Captain America. He had just this incredible run in ARW. I really love the way his Season 2 story is still my favorite story of Season 2. He confronted Captain America while they were both champions. He had literally had a match earlier that night, and he rolled up Captain America, pinned the world champion in about 20 seconds, and caught him off guard. And so Falcon turned around, cost Captain America the Interdimensional title, which, as Captain America put it, that was your biggest mistake, because now I'm free to follow you around and make your life hell, which he did. And he ultimately assembled the Avengers at Survival. They clean swept the Deadly Alliance, and Captain America would win the championship the following month for a pretty good run. He had that amazing match with Little Mac. He had the Termination Chamber match, which I really liked. He ultimately lost it to the guy we'll talk about next. But I do think Cap's first run, I think, could be considered better than Superman. This leads us to Arnold. One of my main issues with Arnold, it's going to knock him down, is I can never tell, should I call him Arnold, or should I call him the T-800, or should I call him Terminator? I've always just kind of alternated. He won the Rumble. I wasn't actually anticipating him winning the Rumble. There's strike one. I had him run through Iron Man the following month because Captain America's best friend, but he's not in ARW. And then he won the championship in the main event of Zander Mania. It's a good start. His first defense is against yours truly. We'll get to that. Not the most proud of that. Not the most proud of that time period in the ARW. His second defense was against The Witcher, which still is one of my favorite matches of Season 3. Very next night, or not next night, but the next show, he lost it. I feel like Arnold's right in the middle. He had a fun reign, but it's not the most memorable. I could even argue could have been better, but we'll come back to that. Up next is Sephiroth. I have a bad feeling about how this tier list is going to wind up. I have a bad feeling about how this tier list is going to wind up. Sephiroth was helped to win the championship, beat Terminator clean in his defense, but then lost it the next month. Sephiroth was never supposed to be champion. It'll make sense in a second. As soon as you can see who beat him for it, so you can tell why he was champion. Sephiroth was champion for one reason, and that was to get the belt onto me on my birthday for 5 minutes. We'll get to that in a minute. So ultimately, Sephiroth could have been better. I feel like I need no more explanation. 5 minutes, 26 seconds. It's really all I've got to say. But, okay, you want elaboration? Fine. So, I was in ARW for a little while as a competitor. Why? Because I'm selfish, and I'm egotistical, and all that fun stuff. I came in and helped Sephiroth fight big bad bosses because I wanted him for myself. He betrayed me. We had a match. We were in the Rumble. We cost each other the title. We fought at Zander Mania. I won. I then went to challenge for the title. I lost. We had a last man standing match. He won. I was back the next show when I should have been out. Accidentally helped him win the title. He tried to help me win a title. I pedigreed him for it. We feuded. I put my career on the line. It was episode 100. It was my birthday. So I won, and then I was cashed in on by Giovanni. I should have never been a competitor in ARW. The GM role, I think, was the perfect role if I was going to be an on-screen presence, but I really shouldn't have been in it to begin with. I should have just stayed a commentator. We'll leave it at that. Giovanni, also forgettable at best, though, but slightly better than me because he held the title for 2 months. I gave him the briefcase because it seemed like a good thing to give him. Looking back at who all was in that match, I think I'd have rather given it to Jack Sparrow because that could have been funny as shit. Not even kidding. Out of all 8 guys in that match, out of Iron Man, out of Ganondorf. Was Ganondorf in it? I think he was. Out of Iron Man, out of Ganondorf, out of Giovanni, out of Jack Sparrow, Kratos, Geralt of Rivia. This is showing you that I don't remember who all was in the match anymore. That's all I remember. I don't remember who was in the rest of it. Let me look real quick and I can tell you who all was in it. So we're going to stall for time for a second. ARW Season 3, View Playlist. Reality Check came the day I moved, by the way, in case you were curious. I know you weren't curious, but it did come the day I moved. So let's see here. Bane? Was Bane in it? So let's see. It was Kratos, Jack Sparrow, Geralt, Giovanni, Ganondorf, Jason Voorhees, Bane, and Iron Man. What a clusterfuck. Wow, this was before the Jason loses to a block meme became a thing. I've got 14 minutes, so I've got to be at work, and I haven't showered yet, by the way. So let's wrap this up. Giovanni's reign, I would have rather had anyone else win that briefcase from that match. He was mainly a caveat to get it on to Captain America. Captain America's second reign, I mean, it wasn't anything to set the world on fire, but it popped the crowd when he won it. People were excited. He had some fun, quick defenses the following months. He was a transitional champion at best. I wanted someone to be a 2-time champion, so he's going to go to the bottom of pretty good. Because, I mean, he wasn't bad. He didn't lose. He wasn't like a jobber champion. But that leads us to the current champion. Need I say more? He's had the thing for over 200 days. He is the longest reigning champion in ARW history. He has been pinned twice in the last 365 days. You will hear me ramble this all the fucking time in ARW. Kratos is unbeatable. He is the best champion we've ever had. Granted, wait till you see he's facing an Annihilation in a few weeks, and maybe you'll change your mind on if that whole unbeatable thing is true. But hey, who knows? With that said, that's going to be the final tier list I do. So there we go. Saving that. And tell me what you thought. What other tier list do you want me to see? ARW and regular 2K Universe related? Let me know down in the comments. Again, don't suggest Universe pay-per-views. We've got a plan for when we're going to do that one. I've been Zander. That was a tier list. And thanks to our Patreons. There they are. 1, 5, or 10. I'm going to do a quick little Patreon plug here. You can support Patreon at $1, $5, or $10. And get access to all sorts of awesome content. We got a new episode of Universal Flashbacks coming out. Yes, my hair is a mess right now. I haven't even showered, like I said. $1, $5, or $10 amount, and you can get all sorts of awesome content. The $1 amount gets you literally everything on there. Like every podcast, every exclusive video, early access when we do that. The ability to suggest stuff for watch-alongs, stuff like that. Like, there's a lot you can get any dollar amount. $5 tier, the thing it adds is that you get your name in this. And $10 tier, you get a personal video sent to you by me every month. So, anyway, thanks to our Patreons. I've been Zander. That was a tier list. See you guys.